It's November 4th, 2025. I'm over here at Newport Elementary, subbing 3rd grade today. I wonder where this goes to. Very neat, Beethoven. Hey, I subbed at most of these. So this day went very well. We did pretty much everything. Reading, writing, arithmetic, social studies, and now they're in science class to conclude the day. After lunch was read aloud, and we read Weights at School is Falling Down. And I told them when I was a student here so long ago, like about 20 years ago, I read this and the other two in the trilogy twice. I read all three in 5th grade and again in 6th grade, and in 4th grade I read the first one, and that was one of my first chapter books. I was so proud back then, which was Sideways Stories of Weights at School, and my 4th grade classroom was the one right next to ours. So even though I grew up hating to read because I'm autistic, and no, not all autistics hate to read, but I did, I absolutely love these books. These and Goosebumps books. But I remember these stories so well. I remember the two chapters that I read today, chapters 13 and 14. And chapter 14 is called Calvin's Big Decision. And spoiler alert, he gets a tattoo of a potato. And I told that to my 5th grade teacher. And guess what my 5th grade teacher did? He went and got a tattoo of a potato himself. And I'm not joking. So I was flipping through and looking ahead, and I stumbled upon this chapter that I read back in 5th and 6th grade called The Substitute. Go figure, it would have been very something if this was the chapter I read today. But no, my first name isn't Benjamin and my last name isn't Franklin. But speaking about Benjamin Franklin, earlier this morning there were so many people from the 1700s here. There were students here that's doing like a walk through history, American history, and I remember that when I was a student. So there's a lot of people dressed up as like Revolutionary War heroes, as well as those who fought in the British Army, so like the Redcoats. I saw Benjamin Franklin, and probably Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. I met Benedict Arnold. And I remember when I was in 5th grade, I think I was either Lewis or Clark. I will say one more thing in conclusion. This morning was quite crazy in my memory bank, I guess. I thought I was subbing 4th grade today, and I was just so confused. And apparently I'm doing 3rd grade. The 4th grade assignment is next week. On top of that, I didn't work yesterday because I thought yesterday was a day off, because the day after Halloween, or the school day after Halloween, there was always a day off when I was a student, and even last year. But they changed it this year, and I must have missed the memo. And there's actually no school tomorrow, so I missed 2 days of work this week. But that might have been a blessing in disguise, because there was an event that was happening tomorrow at Vanguard University that I wanted to go to, and you know, all things work out. Well, as always, I'm glad to be here at my alma mater for elementary school, Newport Heights Elementary. It is November 6, 2025, and I'm over here at Newport Elementary, subbing 3rd grade today. So today came and went, similar to Tuesday when I substituted 3rd grade, and kind of at the same disposition, just loving to talk and talk and talk. But we got through a lot of things today. One of the things that we did this morning after morning work was read all about Veterans Day, which is next Tuesday, and therefore there's no school, but we talked about the history and about veterans and who veterans are serving our country. I interjected the facts of my grandfather and his brother both serving in the Navy, and my cousin who served in the Marine Corps. And then there's a time when most of another 3rd grade class came in here, and most of this class went to another classroom. But while they were in here, I read a chapter from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. I watched both movies many times, the original and the remake. But I still had a lot of reading today. After lunch, I read 2 chapters of James and the Giant Peach. But before lunch and after recess, I taught another math lesson, and it was kind of like the next lesson or two after the one I taught on Tuesday. So this time it was all about subtraction and different strategies on how to subtract, like expanded notation and decomposition, or standard algorithm and borrowing. And speaking about math, there is one assiduous student who loves math, and he asked me all day to come up with multiplication and division problems for him to solve. And then toward the end of the day was social studies, and it was about the 4 regions of California, quite similar to the social studies lesson that I taught on Tuesday. So we read, annotated, and discussed the 4 regions of California. And I will conclude by saying I got a note from one of the students, or a couple of the students, right here, so I'm very appreciative of that. And what's great about the school is that the backyard is literally the beach. So when we talked about the coastal regions of California, I'm like, it's right back there. Well, it was a great day today. I know where I'm going to be tomorrow to conclude the week. It's November 7th, 2025. I'm back over here at Newport Heights Elementary, subbing second grade today. So it's recess time and I'm already getting on the camera. This is an excellent group of students. We started the day off with flag deck, and it was a very long flag deck because of a lot of awards, shark prides and everything, which is what they had when I was a student here. So this teacher I knew when I was a student here so long ago. She wasn't my teacher, but we definitely knew each other. And she still has the piano that she had like 20 years ago. So the teacher wanted them to sing Near a Grand Old Flag, so I knew how to play that on piano. So I was playing and they were singing along. In fact, a couple of the students remembered me from subbing music last year, so when they were in first grade. And then we did Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and then they did writing, and then a math test about subtraction, and then a math packet about odd and even numbers. And then right before recess I showed a trick. I showed two tricks actually, and they were baffled. They couldn't stop talking about it. And then we lined up after and went to recess, and they're still talking about it. In fact, a student from another class said, hey, he does tricks. So it's like a lot of students here know that I do tricks. Probably because I was subbing the last few years. So anyway, I'm sure that the rest of the day would go well. So the teacher next door just came in, and apparently she could hear the piano from over here, so I didn't know it was that loud, but she said it sounded like a concert in here, so she enjoyed it. And I will say that after recess, as they were coming in, I was playing a song and they were jumping up and down because it was the work song from Cinderella. And so that's it, and the day went well, and in all candor it was perfect this morning, but after lunch something happened. It was like a totally different class. But you know, it's Friday, all the students are kind of tired. When we went over to the library earlier today, I was reliving a lot of memories when I went over there from 3rd grade to 6th grade back in the day, and I probably saw books that I read, the same exact books that I read so long ago. So as I always say, disability or not, anyone can do whatever they set to their heart and mind to do as long as it's practical. And behind the disability, we have a heart and a mind. And I am taking that message to basically the ends of Orange County. And I've spoken to over 12,000 students in my volunteer assemblies, and it's been my goal to do these assemblies voluntarily in every school in NMUSD. In fact, every school in Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, including the private schools, like there's Mariners Christian, Carden Hall, St. Joachim, Harbor Day, etc. And it's my goal to go over there and to continue to make a difference. I am putting screenshots of messages and emails that I've received, proving that I have made a difference in students' lives. And so I was expressing that recently on social media, and there's a person from Newport L who reached out, and she's communicating with the president of the Harbor Council PTA. And 2 years and 1 day ago, on November 6, 2023, I spoke at the Harbor Council PTA meeting, and I presented what I do in my volunteer assemblies, such as juggling and my science demo analogy and sleight of hand tricks. And that got me in a lot of schools, but not every NMUSD school. So I'm still in the fight to be in every single NMUSD school that I haven't been to yet by June 2026, including here at Newport Heights Elementary, Newport Harbor High School, and beyond. So anyway, I'm grateful for this week, and thank you so much for watching.